In 1929, within the dust-laden walls of the Topkapi Palace, once the very heart of power for the mighty Ottoman Empire, a discovery emerged that would leave the world utterly baffled. It wasn't gold nor weaponry, but a map, hand-drawn on gazelle skin. But the real shock didn't lie in the material, it lay in what the map revealed. The coastlines of South America, the islands off the coast of Africa, and a mysterious land to the south, a place many believed to be Antarctica, long before it was officially discovered nearly 300 years later. How could a 16th century Ottoman admiral possess such terrifyingly accurate knowledge? Who or what guided him? This is not just a map, it's a message from a civilization that may have been erased from human history. The Piri Reis Map, drawn in 1513, is one of the most controversial and captivating works in the history of cartography. Its creator, Piri Reis, was a brilliant admiral, navigator, and cartographer of the Ottoman Empire. He presented this map to Sultan Selim II as a gift of knowledge and strategic value. Remarkably, unlike most maps of that time which were drawn on paper, this map was crafted on gazelle skin, a rare, durable material ideal for long-term preservation. Although only a fragment of the map survives today, it is enough to astonish. Scholars and historians alike. It provides detailed depictions of the western coasts of Europe, North Africa, and most notably, the eastern coast of South America, with a level of accuracy that defies the surveying technology available in the early 16th century. What makes it even more impressive is that the map was created only 20 years after Christopher Columbus's first voyage, during a period when global geographical knowledge was still extremely limited. Compared to other maps of the same era, and even those created 200 years later, the Piri Reis Map stands out with its exceptional precision. This has led many researchers to question, how did Piri Reis obtain such detailed geographical information? Some theories suggest that he may have drawn from older, now lost documents or maps inherited from earlier, possibly forgotten civilizations. Although the true origins of the map's data remain a mystery, the Piri Reis Map continues to serve as a unique testament to advanced maritime knowledge far ahead of its time. The Piri Reis Map is not just an ordinary nautical chart. It is a testament to the exceptional cartographic knowledge of the 16th century. This map contains numerous details that continue to astonish historians, geographers, and even modern scientists. It reflects an incredible body of knowledge about the world at the time, while also raising many questions about access to information and technology in the pre-modern era. First and foremost, the Piri Reis Map is a nautical chart designed to aid navigation at sea, an extremely important task for maritime empires like the Ottoman Empire in the 16th century. The map features a relatively accurate system of meridians and parallels for its time, allowing sailors to roughly locate their positions based on direction and distance. The presence of these latitude and longitude lines demonstrates a solid understanding of mathematics, especially at a time when surveying and positioning techniques were still developing. Piri Reis provides surprisingly accurate representations of the coastal areas of Europe and Africa. Specifically, the coastlines of Spain, Portugal, France, and parts of North Africa, including Morocco, Mauritania, and Senegal, are all well illustrated. Landmarks and natural features like river mouths, bays, and capes are drawn in great detail. These details may have been gathered from earlier European maps or from first-hand Ottoman voyages, but the coherent and accurate presentation is in itself a remarkable achievement. Another distinctive feature of the Piri Reis Map is its vivid illustrations of animals such as elephants, ostriches, whales, and other region-specific creatures. These images help viewers visualize distant lands while also reflecting the mapmaker's diverse knowledge of nature and culture. In addition, Piri Reis included historical figures, most notably Mansa Musa, the legendary wealthy king of the Mali Empire, known for his immense riches and famed pilgrimage to Mecca. The inclusion of Mansa Musa indicates that Piri Reis was not only interested in geography, but also had a strong grasp of the cultural and historical aspects of each region he mapped. One of the most surprising elements of the Piri Reis Map is its relatively accurate depiction of the eastern coastline of South America. This is particularly noteworthy because the map was drawn just 21 years after Christopher Columbus discovered the Americas in 1492. While many contemporary European maps were still vague about the New World, Piri Reis clearly illustrates the coastline stretching from the Caribbean all the way down to Brazil. He even annotated the map with notes about local animals, indigenous people, and regional features based on reports from European sailors and older maps he had collected. Another controversial feature is the southern portion of the map, which some believe depicts the coastline of Antarctica, a continent not officially discovered until the early 19th century, nearly 300 years after the map was created. Some argue this southern landmass is merely an extension of South America, but others suggest that Piri Reis, through access to lost ancient documents, accidentally portrayed an ice-free part of Antarctica. Though no consensus has been reached, this remains one of the most intriguing aspects of the map. An astonishing aspect of the Piri Reis Map is its apparent use of advanced cartographic projections, such as azimuthal, equidistant, or cylindrical projection, systems that would not be formally developed and systematized until many years later. A map projection is a method of representing the curved surface of the Earth on a flat plane and requires deep mathematical and geometrical knowledge. The use of such methods raises questions about whether Piri Reis had access to ancient knowledge or more advanced maps created by now lost civilizations. Perhaps the most shocking feature is the map's apparent accuracy in depicting longitudinal positions, something that cartographers of the time were virtually incapable of achieving. Determining longitude requires knowing the exact time at both the reference point, usually the prime meridian, and the observation point, a task that requires highly accurate marine chronometers. These instruments only became available in the 18th century during the voyages of Captain James Cook. Yet, the Piri Reis Map shows a relatively accurate longitudinal placement of many regions, an achievement that to this day remains unexplained. What makes the Piri Reis Map truly extraordinary is that it was created by an admiral of the Ottoman Empire, an empire not counted among the dominant European maritime powers of the era such as Spain, Portugal, or England, and yet Piri Reis, as a representative of a Muslim empire, possessed highly detailed geographical knowledge of the Americas, a continent that had only been discovered by Europe less than a quarter of a century earlier. This has led many scholars to ask, how could an Ottoman sailor know so much about the South American coastline, even including regions European explorers had not yet reached? The mainstream theory, compilation from European maps. This is the theory most widely accepted by academic circles. According to it, Piri Reis compiled information from various map sources, mainly those created by European explorers such as Christopher Columbus, Pedro Alvarez Cabral, and Amerigo Vespucci. In fact, Piri Reis explicitly noted on his map that he based it on around 20 different maps, including some dating back to the time of Alexander the Great. In the 16th century, maps were considered critical strategic assets. The exchange, theft, or copying of maps among empires was not uncommon. Although the Ottoman Empire was not a major power in the Atlantic Ocean, it maintained strong networks of spies, merchants, and pirates capable of accessing valuable documents from Europe. What is surprising is that even though the map is a compilation, Piri Reis managed to reconstruct the world map with such precision that it still amazes people today. His ability to select, verify, and synthesize information to produce a coherent and detailed map showcases his exceptional cartographic skills and analytical thinking. One striking feature of the Piri Reis map is that it includes more than just geography. It also presents rare biological details. For example, it clearly depicts the presence of tropical birds, monkeys, and other native species unique to South America, creatures the Ottomans likely had never seen in person. Furthermore, the map records islands such as Fernando de Noronha, an archipelago off the coast of Brazil. Remarkably, Piri Reis correctly identified the island's relative location, something many contemporary European maps failed to do accurately. This raises suspicions that Piri Reis might have had access to extremely detailed documents, perhaps from unknown sources. One of the most debated aspects of the Piri Reis map is the theory that it might depict part of Antarctica, specifically the Antarctic Peninsula. In the surviving portion of the map, there is a landmass stretching south of South America, shaped in a way that resembles the non-glaciated continental outline of Antarctica. What's curious is that Antarctica was not officially discovered until 1820, nearly 300 years after the map was drawn. This theory excites many who believe that Piri Reis, or the sources he relied on, may have had access to ancient maps created during a time when Antarctica was not yet covered in ice. Some researchers even speculate that an advanced ancient civilization may have once mapped the Earth with great precision. However, this theory has also faced strong criticism. The landmass on Piri Reis's map includes depictions of deer, large birds, and even humans, features entirely inconsistent with the reality of Antarctica. For this reason, many scholars argue that the region in question cannot be Antarctica. Instead of Antarctica, many experts propose alternative identities for the mysterious southern region depicted on the map. One, Patagonia, southern Argentina. It is possible that early cartographers exaggerated the length of this region. In the absence of complete information, it was common for mapmakers to extend unexplored lands based on speculation. 2. Terra Australis. This was a mythical southern continent believed to exist to balance the landmasses of the northern hemisphere. Terra Australis was a common feature in ancient and medieval maps from the Roman era up through the 18th century. Piri Reis may have included this hypothetical land based on ancient sources. A minority theory posits that the northern section of the landmass could be a mistaken depiction of Japan or coastal East Asia. However, this theory lacks support because the Ottoman Empire had trade relations with Asia, including China and India, making such a misidentification unlikely. The Piri Reis map is not only famous for its age, spanning several centuries, and its astonishing geographical details, but also for the cartographic elements that seem far ahead of its time. In the modern era, digital tools like Google Earth and advanced map analysis software have allowed researchers to rigorously test how accurately this map reflects the real world. The results reveal that the Piri Reis map was not a product of chance or imagination, but one that reflects a knowledge base that cannot be underestimated. To assess the accuracy of the Piri Reis map, researchers digitized the surviving portions and overlaid them onto modern Google Earth maps. This allowed for a direct comparison of geographic features such as coastlines, islands, bays, and known landmarks. During the analysis, the Mercator projection, a cylindrical map projection commonly used in navigation, was employed. The results were astounding. Key geographic points like the Strait of Gibraltar, separating Europe and Africa, the Canary Islands, and the eastern coast of Brazil aligned almost perfectly with modern maps. This suggests that the cartographer, or the sources used by Piri Reis, had extremely accurate knowledge of coastal coordinates and shapes. Although the map shows high precision in areas like West Africa and the Brazilian coastline, other regions exhibit relative inaccuracies. For instance, the northern part of South America and the areas surrounding the Strait of Gibraltar show slight directional and proportional deviations. Interestingly, this supports a compelling theory that the Piri Reis map was compiled from multiple sources using different map projections. This explains why some regions are extremely accurate while others are inconsistent, an inevitable consequence when trying to merge data from original maps with different coordinate systems and cartographic standards. One of the greatest technical challenges in cartography before the 18th century was determining longitude, something that required precise timekeeping, which only became possible with the invention of accurate marine chronometers during Captain Cook's era. Yet, the Piri Reis map shows a surprisingly advanced grasp of longitude. When analyzing distances from Dakar, Senegal to Cairo, Egypt, and from Dakar to the Brazilian coast, the ratio on the map is 2.8, almost identical to the actual ratio measured on the Earth's spherical surface. This implies that the relative placement of longitudinal points on the map was precise, even if the Ottomans lacked the ability to measure time down to the second. A widely supported theory suggests the map may have employed the azimuthal equidistant projection centered on the Great Pyramid of Giza, a central point connecting Asia, Africa, and Europe. Another possibility is that the original source map used a cylindrical projection similar to the Mercator projection, which was only fully developed years later. Another feature found on the Piri Reis map is the system of rhumb lines, straight lines indicating wind directions and sea routes, commonly seen in medieval nautical maps. These lines converge at compass roses used for maritime orientation. What's notable is that the analysis of these rhumb lines reveals they converge near Giza, Egypt. This strengthens the hypothesis that the original map, or the sources Piri Reis drew upon, used a projection centered on Giza, a sacred and strategically significant site in ancient culture. If this theory holds true, it would suggest the source cartographers understood the concept of a global map center and had the capacity to establish a logical and mathematical geographic framework, an extraordinary achievement for the early 16th century. Another intriguing detail is the presence of scale bars on the Piri Reis map, which appear inconsistent in length when viewed in 2D. However, when adjusted using the Mercator projection, the scale bars yield nearly identical results. 1,956 kilometers and 1,965 kilometers, a discrepancy of just 0.5%, far surpassing many contemporary maps. This leads to a well-founded conclusion. Piri Reis, or his sources, likely drew from maps incorporating advanced mathematical projections, or at the very least, understood how to adjust distances based on latitude, a sophisticated technique for the 16th century. The Piri Reis map was discovered in 1929 during the conversion of Istanbul's Topkapi Palace into a museum. It was found by German scholar Gustav Adolf Deissmann while reviewing ancient documents stored in the palace archives. From a historical perspective, the Piri Reis map reflects the maritime ambition and exploratory drive of the Ottoman Empire in the early 16th century. The fact that such a map was in Ottoman hands rather than European challenges the Western narrative that Asia lagged behind in geographical knowledge. On the contrary, it highlights the Islamic world's capacity for acquiring, synthesizing, and analyzing information during its golden age. With its uncanny precision, the Piri Reis map raises a profound question. Could there have been an advanced civilization that once mapped the globe, but whose knowledge was lost or hidden over time? Though debates continue, one thing is undeniable. The Piri Reis map is not just a maritime tool, it is a historical testament to human intellect, ambition, and the unanswered mysteries that linger in our understanding of the past.